Hey, and welcome to the Salty Sisters. I'm Sage.
And I'm Mackenzie, and we're here to discuss our unfiltered perspective on life,
We discuss uncomfortable topics, our unpopular opinions, as well as our lived experiences.
all with a little sprinkle of fuck the patriarchy.
So thank you so much for being here, and we really hope you enjoy this episode.
Good morning, Sage Anderson, Sparkle Queen.
Good morning, Mackenzie Wilderman, other sparkle queen of the nations.
I'm not sparkling as bright as you yet. You're sort of a solar flare.
It is almost 3 p.m. here in Colorado, and it's what time there? Like 5 in the morning, 5:30,
Yeah,
5:50.
it's very early.
Yeah, sorry.
The unwavering commitment to our podcast.
Yes. Your light is shining into your glasses, just so you know.
My light is, yeah, but I need it because otherwise you can't see me.
Okay. But then if you
In
have
my
like two
dark
rings on
It's
your
like, just go with it. I don't have time for you this morning. Friggin' attitude.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start this episode off with Mackenzie has a few mantras that she's been saying over the last week that she'd like to share with all of you saltines.
Yes, the first one that I am currently living my life by is not my circus, not my clowns. And I just repeat that over and over and over to myself when I know it's time for me to butt out. Because as we remember, one of my goals for 2024 is not to solve other people's problems. So, not my circus, not my clowns. It's a good one.
That's really good. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think another one of your mantras that I really like is just get fucked. I like when
Yeah.
you just, those were like your words of 2022, I believe. And
Yeah, powerful words.
I like to say that when drivers piss me off on the road, I kind of just say it under my breath. But
You know what I do that I think is going to eventually land me in quite hot water, but it hasn't yet. Instead of flipping people off, I blow them a kiss.
that's so
It
good.
really, you know, yeah.
Another mantra of mine lately is just no.
That's a great one.
Like, hey, you want to do this? No. You want to meet up and do that? No. Can you do this? No. So that's been good for me.
Okay, well, that's three. That seems like enough for people to get going. We'd
Yeah.
love to hear your mantras, you guys, if you have a good mantra.
Okay, so what are we calling this episode? Did we decide?
No,
Okay,
I'll name it by the end of the day. I promise.
perfect. Today, we kind of wanted to just circle back with everybody about something that we know each of us is feeling pretty heavily. And based on some of my conversations, I'm sure, and you've had conversations as well, it seems like a lot of people are really feeling the squeeze of the financial times. And, you know, it's kind of been a really weird season, at least here in the States, like since COVID, our economy just like went nuts. Like it kind of exploded. Inflation went super high, and then spending and overspending and like overall like consumerism has been at like an all-time high. And so
Yeah.
it's a really weird mix. And yeah, so do you want to elaborate on that a little?
Yeah, I think overconsumption at the moment is quite prevalent in Western society. And every time you get on any sort of social media, any kind, it's like just ad central. And that's like the gambit that they're running, right? Like that's how they make their money. So everything's an ad. All these influencers are paid to put ads out into the universe for you to click on and buy whatever it is they're selling you. And it just leads to you having all kinds of shit you don't need.
Yeah.
And I find personally, sometimes it's very hard to stay the course when it appears as though everybody is always getting new stuff, and the trends are constantly shifting and changing, and everyone's getting to participate in them. It's hard to not jump on every trend you see.
I think we both know people in our lives that are constantly just like, oh, I saw this on Amazon, and so I bought it, and I saw this and it was on sale, like not really on sale, but in their mind it was on sale, so I bought it. And it can just be such a like feeling of like, oh my gosh, like how are you affording that? Like
Yeah.
why can I not afford that? It just becomes like a really bad cycle to get trapped in.
Yeah. So we thought we would talk a little bit about some things that we do to both curb the desire to overconsume, and a few things that I personally have found are worth the investment, and a couple things that aren't.
Hit us.
Okay, so one thing that I do personally, and I've put in a lot of effort in the past like couple of years to really do this with intention, is clothes shopping. I shop with intention. So clothes are notoriously cyclical. Trends come and go and come and go and come and go. And fast fashion is one of the leading causes of climate change, in addition to underpaid and or enslaved labor. So with that in mind, I have found it is much, much better to really spend a couple days, weeks, or months, depending on what your need is, to really think about your purchases. And it can be really hard because there's a lot of clothing influence online, and it's very easy to click it and say like that's only $30, and you can buy it and it can be shipped out and it will be there in 2 days in the US for most standard shipping. In Australia it's like 10 to 15 days of shipping. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of clothes that you buy and purchase that you never ever wear. So one thing that I do is I try to shop my own wardrobe first. So if there's like a trend that I'm liking, I go into my wardrobe and see if there's anything that I can wear that suffices that trend, that fills that immediate void in me. And sometimes that's just as rewarding as like buying a new piece of clothing. And the other thing I've been doing is filling needs in my wardrobe. So I have found that instead of having all these trends, it's better to just have like timeless classic pieces that are well made. But the problem is well made clothes are expensive, and that can be a price barrier to like a lot of people. So my trick for this is like, I'll give you an example. I found this leather skirt that I really wanted, and it was priced at $300. That's a lot of money for something so silly. So I spent like, I don't know, 3 weeks thinking about if I would wear a leather skirt in Australia. And I sent it to a couple people who I value their fashion advice and listened to what they had to say. And then at the end of the day, I still wanted it. So I went onto a secondhand website and I found that exact leather skirt for, I think I paid $60 for it. And that suffices two categories for me. Number one, it's cheaper. And number two, it keeps that piece of clothing out of the landfill, because secondhand is one of the best ways that you can actually keep clothing out of the landfill and help the environment. And it's a lot cheaper to do it that way. So the two websites I personally use in the United States, I use ThreadUp. And in Australia, I use Depop, but Depop is a global market, so you could look on there. But the tip I have is if you just get on there and browse, you're easily going to get overwhelmed and just shut down. It would be like jumping into like the sewer head first. So my tip for that is shop with intention, know what you are looking for, and just search for that particular item. So, white button down shirt instead of just going into the button down shirts. Like really hone in on what it is you want. And it's even better if you know the brands that you already like, because you can often filter by brand.
I think that's a really good piece of advice, what you just said about shopping with intention. I think that that's really an important um, piece of wisdom that we could all be carrying around right now, especially as things just feel really tight. So, when we asked on Instagram earlier this week where people are feeling the squeeze the most, some people said, actually, a lot of people said grocery shopping. And so, my little piece of advice today is try to plan ahead and try to meal plan so that you can only go to the store once a week, and then that will help with your budget. So Taylor and I we plan like 7 meals at a time, and we go to the store once a week, and we try really hard to only buy like the essential items that we need for the week, and we'll buy like a bulk package of protein like chicken or ground beef, and then try to use that for like 2 to 3 different dishes.
Yeah.
So it means we eat like a lot of leftovers in our house, and we really try to not go out because we have found every single time we go out here in Colorado, it feels like we spend a week's worth of groceries in one meal. So it's very like it can kind of like make your head feel like it's gonna explode.
We do something very similar, but we go, I think we go like 5 on a 5-day rotation, just because that's just how the cookie crumbles at our house. Like I have never been able to do 7 days of meals in one grocery haul. But one thing that I find frustrating currently is like the meat quality is, I think, going down and the prices are going up. So like tofu is a really good alternative source if you're not soy sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is gluten-free, dairy-free, and there's actually a lot of ways you can cook tofu, and it's pretty decent. I think it gets a really like bad rep, but it's really delicious.
Yeah, or trying to do different like um lentil
Mm.
dishes, bean dishes. I know you and I have both like been experimenting with that. Like
Yeah.
I think beans are a really easy way to get more protein into your diet too.
Yeah,
It's
lentils
pretty
are
hard to
like
find like good recipes.
free.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then like trying to cook more vegetarian options too can help with that. But
Yeah. One subscription that Sage and I have, that I know like it's silly because we're talking about saving money, but one subscription that I find very, very worth it is America's Test Kitchen. And I find it worth it for a few reasons. Number one, I think they have good options for weeknight meals that are approachable. Their directions are very clear. Often they have videos, if you're a visual learner, that accompany said recipe. But in addition, they they have one of the most valuable things, and they do have like a YouTube channel associated just to this, but they also have like a gearhead type offshoot of America's Test Kitchen. And what is valuable to me about that is they actually go like head to head testing all these products for you, so that you know that when you buy your kitchen gear, you're getting something that's worth your money, that's going to last you, and is actually, functioning over time instead of just a gimmicky piece of shit pan. So, like, I don't, there was one on Instagram that went viral like a while ago. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but it's like a non-stick. They came in like fun colors like pink or green or blue. And you're supposed to be able to like steam stuff in it. And it turned out that they were like toxic. Well, spending a little bit of time and researching your kitchenware before you buy it is a very good way to A, get your money's worth out of it, and B, make sure you're buying a product that is going to last you. Because kitchen products like your knives and your pans are worth your time investment and don't always need to cost the most amount of money to be worth it. And America's Test Kitchen does a good job of just telling you which ones are worth it and which ones aren't to spend your money.
Yeah. Researching things like we've already been saying before you buy them will really serve you in the long run. But it has to
Yeah.
be like a learned a learned practice. It's hard. It's not a vibrant part of our culture. It's not how many of us were raised. But to really think through your purchases and research them first. Like, we've been needing to buy a new grill. Like ours is like legitimately broken. We've been needing to buy one for like, I don't know, about 4 months now, and we're still researching.
Yeah, that's how long I spent to buy my barbecue as well. And then I was telling Matt all the highlights of the barbecue I wanted. And this little this little old man was listening while I was telling Matt which one we were picking, and he stole the last one of the one I was like selling, and then I didn't get the one I wanted because that little old man stole my barbecue.
Well, that's just wisdom, you know?
Yeah, I guess. Like I'm too good of a salesperson. I have found in addition to researching like price and quality, one additional piece that's often overlooked is researching how to care for the items that you are purchasing. Because unfortunately, like that's in our consumeristic society, that is seen as like not important because you can always replace what it is. But the truth is, if you learn to care for the things you have, that's how they last your entire life. You have to like put a little bit of maintenance in. Like your car, unfortunately, does need an oil change. That is like not fake news. Like it needs an oil change. Your knives need to be sharpened appropriately. Your cast iron needs oil. Like these things, it's true.
Okay, so another thing I've been doing to help save money is just making sure we turn off like our lights and, trying to keep our heat turned down here in the winter, hopefully not turning on the AC too much during the day once it gets blistering hot. That's a really simple way. And then also just making or also trying to research like local programs and government funded things that, when you're in a certain income bracket, you can get signed up for like really cool programs. Like you could get like discounted internet or
Oh,
discounted healthcare, or not healthcare, but discounted health insurance, like here in the States. Um, we get like a discounted rec center pass for our family, which is really nice. So it makes it like really affordable, and then we can go swim and stuff. That's something to think about too, is like, are there ways to save just on like a day-to-day basis as well?
yeah,
Every little bit is adding up right now.
indeed. And back to the groceries, we found a program and I would bet any amount of money. No, I'm kidding. But I would be willing to bet that the United States, certain areas at least, would offer this as well. But across Australia, there's quite a few of these companies, and what they do is they partner with farmers, local farmers, because we're so corrupted in our grocery, like economic grocery department. Basically, if an apple, for example, is not the right size, color, shape, etc., it cannot go to market. So even if they grow 500 apples, maybe 200 make it to market because of they're beautiful enough. What happens is the farmer then has all this extra product that is lost and goes into food waste. So these companies partner with these farmers and they resell like the ugly fruit, ugly vegetables at a discounted rate. So I've signed up for one in Australia. It's called Funky Foods. And we get it bi-weekly. You can do however many increments you want. So you could get it weekly, you could get it bi-weekly, you could get, I think you can do it monthly too. And there's different like size boxes that you get. And basically ours is $50 every 2 weeks. And it is a massive amount of produce. Like this box is humongous and it lasts us 2 weeks. That's how many like really good, high quality produces are in there. But the onus is then on me and Matt, because we have to be a little bit creative with our food. However, it keeps dinner at least interesting because we're not just like, oh, I guess I'll just have tacos again. Because you do have to put a little bit of like legwork into how to use all this produce. But it has been incredibly useful and fun to get new produce, and also really helps out like the farmers.
Yeah, I do think that's like kind of an important point and segue into like thinking about these are like really straining financial times for a lot of people. I know like here in the States and I'm sure in Australia, like across the world, like it's just been really tight for many, many people. And so I do think it's important to say like even though we're all feeling squeezed, thinking about how we spend our money is still really important. And that's something that I constantly find myself in a battle with is like, do I want to buy like cheaper bulk chicken, that isn't probably the best for my body? Or do I want to buy like less chicken that's, maybe like an organic chicken where I know, I bought it like at a farmer's market or something and know that it's going to like nourish my body better and support a smaller company or a smaller farmer. Like those are still like really important decisions to make and to think about. And so hopefully like some of these tips can help you make better decisions or maybe think about things differently because this has been a tricky time. Like everything is so expensive, inflation's so high, and it's just like I mean, like one of our friends said on Instagram, like her head explodes every single time she goes to the store, and I think we all
Yeah.
feel that right now, and so it's cool to think about still supporting the things we believe in during
Yeah.
times
And
like
I think
this.
there's some like little tips and tricks of making food last longer that I don't know if they skipped a generation or like our parents just decided to gatekeep it from us. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just Sage and I's household where like we went to the grocery store every day growing up. But putting fresh vegetables into water in your fridge makes them last for weeks and weeks and weeks. Even if you buy like a bag of lemons, if you take a bowl and put them into water, they will last you forever until you're ready to use them.
Watch every saltines fridge is gonna be like you open it and it's just gonna be like bowls of water and produce like
Bowls of, well, that's
everywhere.
what my fridge is. My fridge is a bowl of water. Like especially in Australia where stuff goes bad so fast, like or it grows like 10 feet overnight. You absolutely have to put like your herbs into a jar of water. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Cut off the ends when you get it, stick it into water like it's a flower. Like, these things are fresh flowers. That's how you have to think about them. I buy bags of carrots, and then for like snacks and stuff, I chop them up and put them into a little container of water, and they stay crispy and fresh. That's a Grandpa Walt trick, so you're welcome. Also, with this produce box, like sometimes we get, I don't know, 1 million tomatoes. And what are you going to do with that many fresh tomatoes? So, what I do is I freeze them, because you can take a whole tomato out of the fridge, add it to your dish. It will break itself down as it cooks. And that way you don't waste any tomatoes. Just stick them straight into the freezer.
Man, these are some hot tips. I like
I
it.
know. I know. Also, bananas, if you peel and slice them and put them into a container, you can freeze them for your smoothies,
Oh,
your tropical smoothies.
it's like candy, delicious.
Yeah. I mean, like, bananas go bad very quickly.
Okay. Well, should we do some UPs? I see that you want to talk about your Dyson actually. I just saw that.
Oh, oh, yes. I would like to say a few things. The things that I have bought that are actually worth the investment and I have researched are as follows: my Dyson vacuum, which is the hill I will die on forever. 100% it is worth it. Our kitchen knives, which we have German made kitchen knives, and they have changed my life. So good. good headphones. I personally have Sony headphones that were worth it, and a good mattress.
I think the biggest thing we bought, besides obviously our sauna being worth the purchase, as you all know by now, our couch. We finally, after like we've been married almost 10 years, we bought our first like real couch, and it was more expensive. You know, it was like on the more expensive end, but we waited for a Memorial Day, no, or like a Black Friday sale or something, and we bought it discounted. But that's been like a really important purchase for us, for sure.
Yeah, I think things that center your life, center your home, and ground you are often worth really thinking about if the money is worth it. I have been exceptionally lucky on Facebook Marketplace and going to like yard sales to find houses, find couches.
Mm-hmm.
I have found really, really good couches, but it takes a little bit of time to sort through and find what you're looking for. Okay, you want to go first on your unpopular opinion?
Okay. So this is a really funny one because you were just talking about storing produce in your
Oh no.
fridge and bowls of water. My unpopular opinion today is do not, do not put fresh bananas in your fridge. Yes.
Why?
Yeah. Yes, it's okay to peel them and chop them up and freeze them, but please, I don't want to open any more people's fridges and find full bananas in their fridge. It makes everything in your fridge taste like bananas. I don't know why we're not remembering this from elementary school. When you would like put a banana in your lunchbox with your chips and your sandwich, and then you sit down at lunch and you're eating your chips and they taste like banana. Have you never had this banana effect on your chips?
Um, you must have been more loved than me because I don't think I ever got chips or a sandwich in my lunchbox,
Woman,
but
I
go
made
ahead.
my own lunches. So
Thanks for
like
helping your
bananas
younger sister
make
out.
everything else taste like banana. That is like a true fact, unless you have it in like a sealed bag or something. So like
Low key, bananas are kind of gross.
when we go to Grandma Betty's house, and for like the past year, we've been going there and having, they'll make like lunch for us and stuff. And so many times I'll be eating a sandwich and I'll be like, I swear this tastes like bananas. And like not, and I'm just like, I think I'm crazy. I don't know why. And then a few months ago, I opened her fridge and I opened the crisper drawer, and there in the drawer was like four bananas. And it all made sense to me that they're like, and then our parents started doing it. And so no more putting bananas in the fridge. I just don't want to hear about it anymore. And I don't want to taste it.
What? What? Why are they doing this?
I don't know. It's driving me crazy.
Not our circus, not our clowns. All right, here's mine. One thing that's worth the investment that I don't know, maybe every person actually needs to own, but definitely female identifying people is a good vibrator. Now, there's also some research done on this, so you can do that on your own free time, but that is a slam dunk decision and 100% worth the investment. Rechargeable, that's, you know what? That's a bonus. No batteries needed. 10 out of 10 do I recommend.
Was there a good podcast that recommended those to you? I feel like
No,
you were
but
talking. Oh,
oddly, I do have a playlist that's called Shopping for a Vibrator. It's not mine, but I downloaded it from one of one of the shops in North Carolina I follow on Instagram. So if you need some inspo, like, look, I'm happy to send you that soundtrack to listen to while you comb through the interwebs on that one.
we'll link the playlist in the show notes for you. Sweet. Okay, well, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, see you in a couple weeks if we remember to record our podcast.
Don't forget we're on social media, we're on YouTube now. We have a website. It's just thesaltysistershow.com where you
Yeah,
can
you
find
can
all of our info. Cool. We've got merch for sale. So, all the things.
yeah, we would love to know your tips and tricks for saving money because we always need more tips. So you got anything good, let us know.
Okay. Have the day you deserve.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.